Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Courtney Massey.
And I'm your host, Valerie David, and this is the night session.
Ooh la la.
I've been practicing.
All right, so let's just dive right into this because we have a lot to talk about. And I'm going to get my butt over here to the tabs. So, our first dish to be served this evening is a segment we like to call Sex on the Beach.
Stan!
All right, I do wish I had a sound effect to go along with this, but unfortunately, Stephen Colbert didn't give us his team when he left the Colbert Report, so we don't know how to do that or any of the cool graphics. But I mean, Valerie can start moaning if she wants to.
I have to work up to that. There's a lot to get through. I don't want to peak too early.
a lot of foreplay to get into it.
I just want to say that I'm very happy that this crab seems to be moving away from Stan.
I know. You know what? I will admit, I did this graphic and I was trying to find things that were possibly sex related, and she goes, "I hope this isn't a thing about Stan."
I'm not insinuating anything, are
It
we?
is. It is not. It is not. We love Stan, and we would never, ever suggest that he has anything wrong with his body parts. All right. So, first of all, after winning Roland Garros, Stan was on the U.S. gossip entertainment site Pop Sugar, where they posted a bunch of pictures of him on the beach, as you can see. And they were from, I believe, Miami from earlier this year. And I think everybody went crazy. On my timeline, everybody retweeted it. They were talking about it. I think he almost broke the internet. I think, I think he could beat out Kim Kardashian's booty. I think it was that strong of a reaction from people.
Yes. My timeline was excited, and since it was from Miami, I thought somehow I had missed it, and that I'm like, why did no one else see this or let me know about it? And then you found it on Pop Sugar, and it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think they were published before.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, who is this guy? We took a bunch of pictures of this guy on the beach, and he looks pretty good, but we don't know who he is. Oh my god, he just won something.
Yeah, it just seemed weird that they just popped up out of nowhere and, pop up like crabs do. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I'll behave. But yeah, it just seemed like it came out of nowhere and everybody just exploded. And I'll show you the site with
yeah, with all the hubba hubba. And not on top of, being on the beach, but also pulling his pants down while he's on there just to make it a little extra enticing. So he's he's ready for the gossip columns, he's showing you a little extra.
He is. He probably knew they were there and just thought, you know what, this is my good side. And I'm going to put my hands in my pockets and have my pants cup my booty a little bit.
That's right. Show a little bit of the V in the front that the girls like, showing off the tennis tan a little bit there.
Which tennis tans can be really funny sometimes.
Yeah.
That can go either way with tennis tan.
His is not too bad. So apparently he had the shirt off for a while because
he's tan. Whereas some tennis players like Ernest Gulbis are pale as can be underneath.
Yes.
They take it off and they're just snow white.
Yes, that's what always shocks me about Andy Murray is that he actually is tan and you don't realize he's just like a darker shade of pale. It's like, and then he takes his shirt off and it's like, whoa, oh my god.
It's a darker shade of pale.
Darker shade of pale, which I can relate to. I always say that I'm aspiring to the Andy Murray tan because that's about as far as it goes. So I envy people. My husband just walks under a light bulb and he's tan. So
that's amazing. I would like to see that. Tan.
That was actually something Orlando Bloom said. I stole that from him.
Orlando Bloom?
Yes, he's very similarly olive and gorgeous.
That's my favorite thing that we're quoting Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Orlando is everything.
I wish I had more Orlando Bloom quotes in my head so I could contribute, but I can't.
That'll be for next time.
Yeah,
You have
next
to have
time
an
I
Orlando
will.
Bloom quote.
Yeah, every episode we'll have to have an Orlando Bloom quote. It'll
There
be
you go.
ridiculous. And there's also other news with Stan. With his, can we call it a clothing line?
Yeah, you know that this is where that's what they were saying. It was like a clothing line and possible underwear line, and I'm going, what possible?
Yeah,
If you
it seems if you look at the site, I will show it now. It seems pretty straightforward. You know,
yes,
they got buns, hun.
yes, and I'm thinking, I was like, Stan's gonna be a little intimidated when he sees this site because these guys are pretty intensely ripped.
They're beefy.
Yes.
They're beefy. It'll be interesting. And a lot of tennis players have worn tiny undies.
Yes.
So Stan certainly isn't the first, but we always like it. We always encourage this.
We want to see the stuff. We want to, and we have seen Stan in his underpants in an ice bath, and he looked pretty good. So.
Oh, do you remember when ice baths were like everywhere, like ice bath pictures?
Yeah, that was at the French Open 1 or 2 years ago.
I think not recently, because remember everybody was posting ice bath pictures, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And they stopped doing that.
Yes, I don't know what happened. They thought we all got too excited about them or something.
I don't know, because like I think Fabiano was always naked at one point on his Twitter or something, and we gotta bring that back. We gotta.
I know we're constantly asking. Actually, Tommy Haas posted an ice bath picture, which I had given up hope on, and he actually posted one recently. So
I was giving up hope.
I know, I want to see Tommy in an ice bath, which is so ludicrous because they're always like really uncomfortable, and maybe it's the vulnerability. Maybe that's what makes it attractive, and the near nakedness that always helps.
The vulnerability. You're so vulnerable in that ice bath.
I'm in that ice bath.
Oh.
In your weakened condition.
But that's the thing. Like, I started to go, can I join you? But it would be very cold, and I would not have a sexy reaction getting into it.
Yes. Yes.
I'd be like, hey, baby, how can I get? Oh, jeez. And just start swearing and.
I know
not very sexy.
That was what everyone got really excited about. Popsicle posted a picture of him in one of those like freeze chambers or something, and he was in little tiny underpants, but he had on a stocking cap and gloves. And then it looked like some kind of weird serial killer sex game or something. And it's like, I'm not finding this sexy at all.
Oh my gosh, serial killer sex games. I'm a little goth. That sounds hilarious. I gotta check this out.
We're so starved for tennis player nudity. We'll take anything. He's got a hat and gloves on, but it works for me. So we're looking forward to Stan in his underpants, and we actually thought that was the big news.
Oh, but it's not.
It's not. Oh, yeah, that's my little collage that I made.
Valerie made that collage. I like how she almost had a heart attack when she saw
it. It's a little overwhelming when you put it all together. I found this somewhere. It has nothing to do with me. I take no ownership of it whatsoever.
It's all about that bass.
Yes. Oh, that's what he's doing the ESPN body issue, and everybody, of course, is wanting to know what kind of pose it's going to be. And as you can see from this collage, it will be a super crime if they do not focus on his best side. So I'm hoping they're not going to be coy and deprive us of what we're all really hoping to see.
The USPN body issue is usually not that coy, so I'm hoping we get the goods. And you know what? That's insane because fans got so hot and bothered over those Pop Sugar pictures. Yes. This body issue is going to be like an all-you-can-eat buffet of body parts. Just all of it out there. Gobble it up.
I'm gonna buy 1,200 copies.
I know. You're just gonna have it plastered everywhere.
Well, you have to have extras because, like, when you drool on some and stuff, you have to keep some for posterity or posterity, however you want to say that.
Whatever. We're talking about butts. We don't.
Talking about butts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
yeah. So we're a little excited.
Yeah. So also, to close up the Stan wow, I can't say Stanpocalypse. There we go. I got a little tongue tied there. I wrote this earlier and I was like, Stanpocalypse. This is gonna be fun. I should have went with Stan NATO. That's what I should have went with.
Yeah. See. Well, after that, all those pictures of those butts, it just
Stan Butt NATO. But anyway, he also did a commercial for Subaru cars, which I'll try and play here. And it also includes his famous shorts, and it's pretty great. So if you haven't seen it, I'm playing it right now, but definitely go look, probably on your own, because it's really cute. It's really fun, and I was surprised at the end. Were you surprised?
I had it spoiled for me. So that was, people put screen caps of it ahead of time. So I was like, why is Stan in a plaid car? And then I saw the commercial, which is really, really cute. And I love that he and Yonex have gotten the last laugh about, he got so much crap for these shorts. And, I mean, really, they're just plaid. When you
I liked the shorts. I like the shorts, but I like when players wear kind of patterns and spice it up a little bit. I hate seeing just plain clothes.
Yes, I totally agree. And my thing was when they first debuted this outfit, it was kind of terrifying. I wasn't a real big fan of the shirt. It was just kind of like too much with the plaid. But I kind of started to make peace with the plaid. It was sort of cute, and plus his ass looks really fine in them. So I started to see what they were going for.
Yeah, I like kind of like the tight shorts, kind of that caress the booty a little bit better.
Yes, and the pattern, kind of the way they cut the pattern, it just kind of like highlighted all the curves. So they did a good job on this, and they took a risk with something distinctive, and then he goes and wins the French Open, and then they look like geniuses. Because if you'd just been wearing some plain crap, it wouldn't have caused any kind of a stir. No one would have even been talking about it. And so this was just like a genius move.
Yeah, and weren't they like sold out?
Yeah, they were sold out right away. And so then a lot of people have bought just like the blue. There's different colors. They've got blue ones and black ones. And so, I mean, it's like a total gold mine for them. These shorts that everyone was making fun of at first. And now it's like, who's laughing now?
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I love huge patterns. I think I've said this before on other webcasts or things like that. And I hate seeing just plain shirts. Like, I'm not always a huge fan of Wimbledon because it's always, I mean, I like the white because it's traditional and I think it fits. But at the same time, I think it's boring. Like, I want to see, like, I love the US Open because a lot of times they have a lot of color. Novak kind of has a lot of patterns going on sometimes. Radek Stepanek is great fashion-wise.
Yes.
He always brings it. Like, a lot of the shirts, like, I love, like, the New York City skyline shirt. There were a lot of cute ones that, like, I would buy myself. So I think it would definitely, like you said, be in the interests of these companies to kind of spiff them up a little bit and really make them stand out.
Yeah, this is why I'm happier on my timeline, because I have a lot of people on Twitter that if people wear all black, they're excited. That's what they want to see. And if someone wears plaid or flowers or something, everybody freaks out, which I don't understand where that came from.
You know what? I'm going to be bold. People aren't going to like this, but you know what? I really like Thomas Burdick floral H&M print.
I did too. My favorite.
Like, I would wear it.
Yes.
And there were pieces of that where I'm like, oh man, I would totally wear that. And everyone's like, it's hideous. And I'm like, really? Why?
Yeah, people are like really conservative, and to me it's boring. And that's the way these guys are, because Stan said that about his shorts and Burdick said it about his clothes. They're both like, I don't know, we like it. It's different. And it's like they're thinking it's some kind of cool, like, hey, I don't look like everybody else, and then everybody's going, oh, it's not plain white. I don't know how to handle it. So you and I are totally on the same page.
Yeah, and I hate when players play each other and they're wearing the same clothes.
Oh, I hate that.
Because then sometimes if they have the same build or similar styles, like you have to really concentrate on who's who.
Yes, you're like, oh God, please somebody put on a hat or something.
It's awful when you're half paying attention.
Yes.
And you're like doing work and then listening, and then you're like, oh crap, wait, who's over there again?
Yes. And it's even worse with the girls when they have the same dress on. It's like the hugest fashion faux pas ever.
You can't show up in the same dress.
No, and it's like embarrassing, and especially if it's like a bad one-sided match. And so then not only have you lost, but you lost to somebody who's wearing the same outfit as you. It's like, I don't know, it just seems to add insult to injury. I play better tennis than you, and I wear this outfit better than you. You know?
Bitch stole my look.
Yeah. Awful. And with the girls, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, they're both tall, slender with a dark ponytail, and then they have the exact same dress and visor on, and it's like, I have no idea who's playing who. And they seem to have gotten worse. Like, a lot of times they used to have like the same colors, but there would be different separates, and so different players would come out in kind of just different versions of that same outfit. But now it's like they've just gone completely cheap, and everybody's got the same thing on.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it. It's like Australian Open when Nike had all that pink, and it was like every girl that came on court seemed to have the same outfit on. It was like, it started to look like a joke. It's like, oh my God.
I hope Joan Rivers is looking down on us and just so proud.
Yes.
our fashion police abilities.
That's right. We're going after them.
We are. And speaking of fashion, we're not done.
Oh, there's more.
Because, yeah, we got Mr. Tommy Haas.
More sex on the beach with Tommy Haas.
More sex on the beach. Tommy Haas. And he's back, man.
Yes. And this is the Lanai collection, and he is wearing cashmere sweaters that cost $400, just so you know.
Wow.
You can get cotton ones for $200 if you like. So this is definitely for the more elite customer, but seeing it on Tommy really makes you want to buy it. Hopefully he'll come with it, that kind of thing. I'm sure that's what they're going for.
Yeah, it makes you want to dress your boyfriend up like Tommy Haas.
Yes.
Or husband, as you
exactly.
have.
As I
I would just have my dog to dress up in Tommy Haas cashmere sweaters. But, I'm sure he would look very handsome and dapper.
Exactly. Be very huggable.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and this is his tweet in the company tweet in a suede jacket.
Yes, which cost $2,000, by the way.
You really looked this up, which I love.
I did. I was very intense because I'm like, this stuff is beautiful and awesome, and I'd love to have it. And wow, it's $2,000, which means it's quality. We don't want Tom Haas wearing just any old thing like he used to on the tennis courts.
Yeah, don't want him in rags. I mean, come on, he's riches. He's
he
has to have the good life.
That's right.
So then you actually tweeted about this.
Yes. I was very excited about this tweet, and I said we would all like to wrap ourselves up in suede and Tommy Haas, so this is perfect. And what I thought was awesome was the Lanai collection. Twitter actually favorited it and retweeted it on their timeline. So it's pretty cool when the company itself also has a sense of humor. So.
And agrees that we all want to wrap ourselves in Tommy Haas.
So I'm sure they've, this proves to them that they made the right choice. So, I'm just doing Tommy a solid. I'm keeping him work, We're showing the ladies love it. We might go buy a $2,000 jacket.
What's more expensive, a hug from Tommy Haas or a jacket that Tommy Haas was in?
Which one would make you feel better? Which one's warmer?
I mean, I think they'd both be nice. That's a hard pick.
It is. I want both. I'm greedy.
Yeah, we could be like the tacos commercial. Why not have both? If I knew I was gonna say that, I would have had that gift geared up, but I don't.
Oh my goodness. So, and speaking of butts and Tommy Haas, there's also a lovely photo that they tweeted where they want to have beers with him. But
Beers and butts.
beers and butts. But yes, Tommy Haas is back. Thank God. We've been waiting for him forever. He is ranked 848 right
Whoa,
now.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
even know that. Wow.
yeah, I looked it up and I was like, I knew he had dropped because he's been out for a year with
Yeah.
his, 700th shoulder surgery. And
Is that an accurate number right there?
yes, absolutely. I looked that up too. Um,
Professional journalism.
yes, yeah. I want to be cautious about these things because that was when Tommy Haas was asked in an interview about this shoulder surgery, and the interviewer asked him which shoulder he had the surgery on. And he looked at her for a moment and said, "The important one."
That's amazing.
Do you watch tennis? One-handed backhand. So I want to make sure to do my research on Tommy. But yeah, he made his return in Stuttgart, and he beat Kukushkin, which he didn't think he was going to win his first match back, and playing a quality player, and he was pretty impressed, and so was everyone else, and it was pretty cool for the crowd in Stuttgart for Tommy has to return and win a match, so he was pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, we always like to see him do well. And speaking of Kukushkin, tell me that does not sound like a brand of weed. Like it does. I don't smoke weed. I never have in my life. And all I know is like from Cheech and Chong and like Ron Funch's stand up. But it does to me. And they're on grass. They're playing on grass. And he sounds like
We're gonna light up some Kukushkin later.
oh,
Some Kukush.
Kukush. Yeah, right?
Yes. So Tommy's doing pretty well. He looked awesome. This was always the tragic thing about before he had the surgery. His tennis is all there. He has incredible skill. He looked beautiful out there. Backhands down the line. He's still really crafty, but he still said he's having some pain and tightness in the shoulder, and he can't get a lot of speed on his serve, which the level that these guys are playing at, that's a tough liability. So he says, he seemed hopeful with the way he was playing and that he wasn't having more pain during the matches. So he's going to keep going at it and see how it goes and adjust his schedule accordingly. And I'm hoping we get at least a year out of him, because I know he didn't want to, he wanted to retire on his own terms. And as long as his tennis is still so beautiful, it's like I don't want him to have to give up without, getting some more wins and getting some more love from the crowd, because he deserves it. And I love to watch him play.
Don't we all, man? Don't we all?
For many reasons, as you can see in this picture, which I am gesturing to right now, which no one can see.
You're Vanna Whiting his butt.
Yeah, I am. And there it is.
There it is. So next, we're going to talk about the ATP site change, and it got a complete makeover, the ATP site, and they really mixed it up with all new layouts and profiles, and what used to look like mugshots now looks like beautiful bio pictures. But it's a bit controversial because journalists and bloggers have been complaining about how it's more difficult to look at statistics. I know our friend Ricky Diamond, I believe, said on Twitter that statistics don't always show up for a certain player until he has already played in the tournament for this year. Which, I mean, I can imagine that would cause a lot of problems for kind of bloggers and journalists who rely on these statistics.
Yes, and he also said some of the scores are coming up inaccurate when they look at head-to-head matches, that they have the scores wrong, especially if there were tie breaks. So I have no idea what some glitch in the programming or something. That's really bad because any article that you write, that's what you always did. You go to the ATP site and look up the matches and get the scores. And I mean, you probably always should double check stuff, but now you've got to try to find different outlets to try to get that information before, because now you can't count on the ATP being right.
Yeah, and that's pretty tough, because I think that would probably be the number one source for any one of us,
right?
Looking to write these articles. So I hope that's fixed. I haven't heard anything recently.
The only thing that's still going on was, this was a trend for a while, was a lot of pages would come up with $sign name on the page, and sometimes that was it, which is a little piece of coding so that the coding would come up instead of the actual page. And you still will get that randomly. So people on Twitter were using that as their Twitter handle for a couple days.
So the ATP turned into a rapper.
Yeah. It was the Kesha of sites.
$sign ATP, y'all.
Yeah.
That was more country. That wasn't really rap. I don't know what I just did. I'm very white, you guys. If you couldn't tell, I tried to go rap and I went south.
Well, the plus side of the new site is that some of the players, they have audio now of players saying their own name, so that commentators maybe someday might get close to being right on the pronunciations.
maybe we'll see, because some commentators, I think, don't give a crap about what their names are. They want to make up their own. They want to say, because I remember watching one game where Brad Gilbert was saying Gil Simon, and Darren Cahill was trying to get him to say Gilles Simon.
Yeah.
And Brad would not say it. And Darren Cahill kept trying. Yes. And Brad just had no interest in it. So that's why I proposed to Valerie earlier that along with the audio files of players pronouncing their own name, they should have a second audio file underneath it of Brad Gilbert attempting to say their name. Just for the hell of it. I think that would be really comical and fun to see the difference. I would love to see it. But I do, in all honesty, I do really love this feature, because I worry about pronouncing people's names all the time, especially if I'm at a tournament and I want to ask for autographs.
Yes.
And especially now that I do media, if I do interviews, I don't want to come off like a complete idiot.
Yes. And this is the problem too that I've always had, was that Tennis Channel did this, where they have the players you're watching Tennis Channel or whatever, and they say their own names, but I don't know who's directing them or if they do it on their own, but a lot of the players Americanize their names to say them on Tennis Channel. So Richard Gasquet, who I had heard can't stand it when people mispronounce his name, he says Richard on there. So, and
does he? Now I'm gonna pay attention if I ever see it.
Yes, and Yulia Gergis says Julia, and so like you think
she does say Julia.
Yeah, and so you think you're saying their name right, and then you watch this Tennis Channel promo and you go, but they just said Julia. Have I been saying it wrong? It's like you're trying to be correct and then you still get it wrong. But I understand that. I know with some people's names I'm never going to get it right, because if you don't have the accent, I mean the Czech players, it's hard. They have vowels and stuff that we just don't have. But I feel like people should at least get it close.
Yeah, I always want to try.
Yeah, and then
I always want to put in the effort.
Yeah, and I mean Stan had to win a lot of stuff before people stopped saying Wawrinka, and they still say it in India. But
I sometimes say that.
Yeah, well, it's American, because I have Polish background, and all the people in my family pronounce the W in the American way. It's like it is American tradition, even with Polish people. So it is hard for us to get used to that. But it's like after a while where it's like, this is the way they say it. And Radwanska, the same thing. And actually, Wozniacki, technically she says Wozniacki too. So it's like, really, we should be doing all of our W's as V's. Except when we don't. That's what's always like confusing about it's supposed to be Djokovic, but Tomic, you always have to remember which one's supposed to be which. But that's why I don't do commentating on ESPN for a living.
I know. I'm always worried when we do this webcast that I'm just butchering names, and I'm like, I know the player most likely won't listen to this, but I'm still like, I'm so sorry that I'm ignorant and cannot say names. I feel so bad, and some people don't care. Like, I mean, Brad Gilbert in a way kind of makes his own system. Like Kyrgios is like Cheerio or whatever it is.
Right.
And he just makes up these nicknames so he doesn't have to even attempt their real name. So in a way, it's genius.
Yes.
Although it sounds stupid, but it's genius in its own way.
It's it's like George Lucas. It's like good concept, but the execution always isn't great.
Oh, nerds are coming after you.
I would think they would agree. It's like the guy has great ideas, but he can't write dialogue.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of a known thing in the nerd world, but it would be funny to see someone come at you with a lightsaber. Just at a tournament, like, how dare you insult our king? And I'm part of the nerd community. I go to Comic-Cons and stuff, so I can say that.
There you go.
I can make fun of nerds because I am one of them.
There you go. Those
All
are
right.
people.
Next, I think, is Valerie's favorite segment.
Andy Murray loves talking about Kokk. Don't we all? Don't we all, Andy?
Clearly, because that's a big part of this web series.
That's right. It's not just ass for us. We also like to talk about Kokk.
Definitely.
And Andy's with us on that, apparently.
And big balls. We'll get to that later.
Yes. Giant balls. I don't know.
All right. So I'll explain later, Valerie. Okay. So take this one away.
Well, this has been a fun part on Twitter. It's actually kind of like when Berdick went on Twitter, everybody fell in love with him. Twitter lets us get to see some fun sides of the player's personality. So there's been this Andy Murray, Thanasi Kokkinakis bromance that's been kind of hilarious. And this was one of the first tweets where, video game challenge from Andy to NK and Thanasi, which he's talking about being able to hear them through the hotel walls. I don't know if this is code. Were they really playing video games? I don't know.
This is getting into like slash fiction.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes this stuff writes itself, and Andy has a wicked sense of humor. So
you know what? Someone's gonna send this to Kyrgios, and Kyrgios is gonna come at us. I'm not a part of this, Kyrgios. I think you're all about the ladies. I don't know. I mean, you could be into anything. It's all right. Everything's fine by me.
Well, Thanasi is really pretty. I
mean, they're all pretty.
Yeah, I don't blame. He says, sex before a match is a good thing. So,
Oh. How come I never get these calls?
So that was step one, and then this is Andy just seemed to get obsessed with talking about Kokk. As you can see from these tweets to Thanasi, he was highly.
Kokk is a man of the people.
Exactly. He just harasses them as every time he tweets something. Andy comes in with some little snide.
Was a pleasure playing with the Kokk.
Yes.
Here's the thing. That is not just a coincidence.
No.
That way.
Not with Andy. Andy.
Can we talk about how much I love Andy Murray on Twitter this year?
Yes, we can.
He stepped up so much. Like, I think he's become so hilarious.
Yes.
And he takes it to people. He tells people to calm down when they're overreacting. Like, I just feel like he doesn't care anymore. Because before he used to care about being liked and not being, starting stuff in the press and things like that. And I feel now he just kind of let that go, and he's just going to be Andy.
Right. Yep. He's just letting it fly.
Letting it all hang out. Letting that cock hang out.
Letting that cock hang out, and we're all for it. That was, as soon as he won a slam, his clothes got tighter, and he started letting the personality show more too. So I'm enjoying it.
And here's more bromancy.
Yeah, and
stuff.
here's Thanasi encourages it. You can see his Instagram name is the cock, and number 1, which I hope is not a measurement. I hope it's a just
number 1, the only cock you need, baby.
That's right.
Gosh, I hope they don't watch this.
Why not? We got to tag them in it.
Oh gosh, someone's gonna play this, and it just. I mean, I'm single.
That's right.
Whatever. Just throwing that out there. Do with that as you will. And look how cute they are.
Yes, there's more bromance. And he's harassing Thanasi about the sleeveless. First unforced error was committed today by Thanasi in the gym. Yellow singlet, which I love that. That's so British.
Yellow singlet. That's so wrestling. Like when I hear yellow singlet,
wrestling.
yeah. Well, when I'm a wrestling fan, so when I hear yellow singlet, I think like full onesie spandex.
Well, we can't see the rest of the picture.
Going to bust some heads. Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't see the yellow singlet before. I think I did when they first posted it, but I forgot about that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes. So this is a bromance we're enjoying, and Andy had good bromance with Dimitrov too. So I don't know. He likes the young and pretty guys. So
he got a type.
He's got a type.
Young and pretty.
Young and pretty, which don't we all?
Yeah. Speaking of young and pretty. We gotta talk about Boodles and these lushy cougar broads that they will find young blood and they will pounce.
Yes.
I mean, they were all over this man. Oh, she did get a little hip butt tap there.
Yes. I said my husband JD pointed that out that he.
Yeah, I don't know if he noticed it, but yeah. Like his shirt's half off, like.
Yeah.
Look at her doing the helicopter shirt right there.
Yes. And what I also loved was not only did he get a handful of women, he also, when the lady in the green dress started falling over drunk, he actually grabbed at her to keep her from falling down onto the ground. So he's also polite.
That's just gentlemanly.
Yeah, so he's, sexy and a gentleman. And this was the whole thing was funny because he was playing John Isner, and this whole thing went on, and John's standing over there like, hey, I'm a person too.
They like the young ones though, man.
They do. But John yelled out, he's 15 years old. And everybody started dying. And Thanasi goes, I like older women.
Oh, man. Because I think everybody remembers last year when Ernest Gulbis was the victim.
Yes.
And I think Thanasi looked a little bit more excited than Ernest. I think Ernest looked, he was into it at first, but I think after a while he's like, all right, I'm gonna leave now.
Yes, well, Ernie also got a marriage proposal, and that woman was serious. So I think that was a little scary for him.
And how she skipped onto the court like she was 15. Like maybe she was trying to confuse him. Like, I'm not really old. Look how athletic I am.
My hips still work.
No broken hips. We're good to go. But yeah, you know what? Here's the thing with Boodles and those ladies. I can't decide if I'm ashamed and upset about them, or if I consider these women my heroes.
Yes, exactly.
I can't decide if I'm like, I kind of worship these ladies for just going at their men and clawing at them like a fresh piece of meat, or just ashamed and embarrassed that they're behaving like barbarians and like, I don't know.
They want some fresh cock.
No, they are thirsty for the cock,
man.
They're
thirsty for the cock.
They are thirsty. They are thirsty. And the prescription is more cock.
Is more cock.
And if I had a cowbell right now, I'd start dinging it.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
But I don't.
That's perfect.
But yeah, they're crazy. Like but I don't know if I like want to worship them and be like, I want to be you one day, or I'm ashamed and I don't know.
I'll tell you what, they might end up getting punished for this. because an article just came out that Thanasi actually had a raging like intestinal infection and has been violently ill for days, including when he played this match. So all these ladies kissing and licking the cock may end up being very ill later.
An infection. Oh, I should have used those crab graphics for here because that's the closest we're gonna get to a graphic for this.
But you know, the alcohol might have killed the germ.
Oh, I'm sure they're doused in alcohol, and alcohol kills. I'm sure they'll be fine.
So we're hoping they'll be safe.
And I'm sure if they grab on every man like they grabbed on him, their immune system's built up by now, I'm sure.
These ladies are hardcore.
Watch them listen to this, and we'll get angry letters. And
yes.
How dare you? Oh my gosh.
So that's the fun news about the Kokk.
Yes, and then I have more Andy Murray news. Andy, all right, I got my notes mixed up here.
You got excited about the Kokk.
I did. I got excited, and my notes. I threw my notes all around, and all right. So Andy Murray did a UNICEF video with Claire Balding, One Direction's Liam Payne, and comedian Jack Whitehall, who I love. And the thing I love about Andy Murray is he has been a part of so many British comedy skits and things like that over the years. And I'm a huge comedy fan, huge British comedy fan. And it's been amazing to see Andy Murray do this kind of stuff and very playful. And the highlight of this video is Andy repeating big balls over and over. The setup was him telling Claire Balding that tennis takes big balls, and he just kept repeating it until Jack Whitehall said, "Please, Andy, stop saying big balls." And it's really funny. So if you haven't seen it, go to YouTube, after you listen to this and watch it because it's really funny. And also, in the past, Andy Murray has done Red Nose Day. He's done videos with the Outnumbered cast for that. Richard Alwadi, No Fielding, and Britney Spears, which I'm still not over that. And he's been on Mock the Week a couple times, which is a British panel show, which is really awesome. And you can see all those clips on YouTube. And it's awesome. I just love seeing tennis players kind of be funny and show that personality and do stuff outside the court. I think that's so important and just fun. It's just plain fun.
Yes, and Andy is perfect for this kind of stuff because he has a great sense of humor, but it's super dry.
Yes.
And so he's able to keep a straight face during all of these, they can put him in any kind of ludicrous situation and he's not going to crack up and ruin the shot.
No, and it comes out flawless. Just the right amount. And he kind of reminds me of Richard Alwadi in a bit, but drier, because he's so good at just straighting any line. And I love him for that. I want him to do way more comedy in the future, and I think he will. He seems to really like it, and they seem to ask him to do a lot for Red Nose Day and things like that. So
yes, it's kind of funny how one of the things that he sometimes was criticized for, being so like low key and dry, it ends up being perfect for comedy.
yeah, and it's funny because people are always like, he's not funny. And I'm just like, really? He's hilarious. What are you watching? He has such a perfect style for comedy. And everybody needs that kind of straight man that just, delivers the lines like this. And it's really great. So kudos to Andy for that. Yay. We love you. And so obviously Wimbledon's coming up. So let's talk about Wimbledon a little bit. I know one match that I'm focused on is the round one between Jarkko Nieminen and Leighton Hewitt. Jarkko Nieminen announced that he was retiring after this year, and Leighton said he was ending his career after the next Australian Open, I believe. So this is going to be the last Wimbledon match of both of their careers, and they get each other in round one. That's pretty heartbreaking. Yes.
That was what I was thinking about, because it's like, oh, it's so cool, they're playing each other, and oh my god, one of them's going to go out in the first round. If they've been playing someone else, that's always a risk as well. But here it's like, one guy's going to be going home after this. So
I think it's going to be an important match. I think a lot of people are going to want to watch it. And I think in a way it gives it kind of that really important status that both of these guys are playing their last match.
Yes.
But it's gonna be just heart-wrenching to see one of them go. And I mean, Leighton Hewitt is just so iconic. Yeah. I mean, he's been such a big name in our sport. And Jarkko has always been a player I enjoyed. He's always been nice every time I saw him in person. And I've always adored him. And I think I'm going to be rooting a little bit for Jarkko here more than Hewitt, but both these guys are so great. And I think it's going to be kind of depressing at the end. I mean,
yeah, because Jarkko's kind of always been a little bit more under the radar. So it's kind of like Rusty is going to get all kinds of, accolades and love, for the rest of the year and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it would be kind of nice if Jarkko could have a nice run here. But, then look who's up in the next round for them. Yeah, so great draw.
Yeah. Poor thing. They just got battered. This is your last Wimbledon here. It just got battered. It's disappointing, but, and I hope Nieminen, gets the recognition because I think he's a great player too. And he's so under the radar, and I hope he's appreciative too. I was so sad when I found this out.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because, he's still playing good tennis, but I guess everybody makes the decision about when they're done,
Yeah. Yeah. But, well, I was surprised by Li Na's decision. I'm still surprised.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's wonderful. She had a daughter. She's happy, but I was very surprised when she left.
Yeah, I guess that was mostly about the knee thing, that she was just playing with a lot of pain, and they just didn't think it was, sustainable. And I guess she just said, you know what, I'm gonna go out on a high note and, get on with my life. So she's actually got a pretty full life outside of tennis. So I guess she, I think she felt bad about it, but it was probably seemed like a good time for her. It's just like, I'm done. I'm going on to the next phase.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and other thing in Wimbledon for me, because we always have to talk about America. America. Denis Kudla has been playing really well. He won some challengers, got a wild card in, and he actually has a draw that doesn't suck. He's playing Cuevas the first round, who's really good on clay, but not necessarily on grass. And then it's Gabashvili Zverev in the next round, which is obviously not easy, but there's actually some doable stuff. He's not facing Djokovic in the second round, so it would be really nice if he had a good run here, because American men's tennis, we still there's been little flurries of good stuff, and then it kind of dies down again. So I had kind of been hoping for Denis to do a lot like last summer, and then he got mono and got sidelined by that for quite a while. And so it's nice to see him back and playing well, and so I'm hoping he can do good here at Wimbledon. And then we were going to talk about Ernie, because Ernie's been having some fun, and Ernie could run into Berdic again, who he beat here a few years ago in the first round, which was like a total stunner, but then went out to Yanovitz in the second round, which was just at the time horrifying. And Ernie wasn't that happy about it either. And
definitely.
I remember I was very upset with Yanovitz, because you know who he is. He's so bold and yelling and, kind of distracting. And I was like, I can't believe this guy's going to beat Ernie. And then when the match was over, Jerzy went up and hugged Ernie match, and it was really warm and nice. So it's like, I can't be mad at you anymore. And it was kind of like Ernie was the same way. It's like, okay.
I'm annoyed. Since you're gonna hug me.
You're gonna hug me, and it wasn't that just that peripheral, it was a real true, this was an awesome battle, kind of a thing.
Well, and of course he was happy he won.
Yeah, he won. And what it was one of those things that's the kiss of death for Ernie, because when he played Berdic, it was on the big court, with, thousands of people watching and on TV, and he loves that big spotlight, I'm going to be the spoiler. And then his second round match, they were in the parking lot with, you know, they didn't even have stands. It was just like a mock crowd around it, and it was like he couldn't find the will. He was like you could tell he was like playing offended. Like how could I go from this to this? This is crap.
I like the accent. He doesn't do that well on like outside courts when people are like walking around.
Yes, it's disrespectful.
Because everything bothers him when he plays. Like you have to shut up. You can't move. Don't breathe. Like just sit there and be stones, be statues. Like that's what he wants, and he gets really upset. I will never forget. I don't know I think it was Ernest, but it was in China or something where they had tons of kids, and the kids kept crying, and kids kept running up and down everywhere. Yeah. And I just thought, I don't know if Ernest was there at that time, but I remember thinking to myself, Ernest would kill them. Yeah. Like Ernest would freak out. Yeah. And he's not good at it. And I've seen him in person play these, outside courts where people are constantly walking around, and it just irritates them. He can't, He hates it so much.
Yeah, and I can understand it. It reminds me of Benoit Paire, because Benoit Paire gets like that too, where all the little things bother him. And he had one match where he complained about the smell. There was like some kind of market or something that they had outside the court, and he was complaining to the umpire about the smell. And it was somebody like Pascal or somebody who was going, there's really nothing I can do about the smell. We'll get some air fresheners in here right away for you, Benoit.
Some women have to have Febreze or something in their purse.
That's right. We'll just spray the court around you, and maybe that'll help.
Oh man.
And so one of the cool things that happened before Wimbledon too was that Roger Federer did a Periscope tour of the grounds with a Wimbledon executive, Richard Lewis, I believe is his name. And it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, it's Periscope, we're using new technology, and it's basically him walking around with his cell phone taking really low quality pictures.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
And he's like spinning the camera around, and it's like, Raj, it's not focusing on anything. You gotta slow down so we can actually look at what that is. But the nice part of it was you really got a sense of Roger's enthusiasm for the game. He's still like a kid when he goes out on the walk to center court, and he showed the grass, and he actually asked if it was okay if he could go on the grass, and it was like a little kid. It was like, can I go on the grass? And he was like all excited that he got to go out there and touch the new grass. So it's part of why he's such a great ambassador for the sport, because he's just not cynical about any of it. He loves it all. He just loves the tradition, and he loves the crowds and the tennis, and it's like he wants to be here forever, which is, I'd like that too. And I think he's feeling pretty good again about, once again, this is the slam that everybody thinks he can still win, and he was really close last year, so it would be nice if he could get another one, because I think Wimbledon 2012 was just one of my favorite slams, because that one was particularly awesome because it didn't look like he was going to win like every round. It was like his back locked up. He had his like first MTO in like 10 years or something. And you're like, oh, he was down 2 sets against Beneteau. It was like, he just kept looking like, for sure, this is the end, and he's going to lose to this stupid guy or whatever. And then he won the whole thing. So once again, he's got a doable draw. So we can hope for the best and see what happens, and hopefully we won't get another Wimbledon where we lose everybody on day 2.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't count him out.
No, especially not on grass, because that's when he can because that's how he wins matches a lot more now, with problem solving and being crafty, and he can do that really well on grass. He can be quick and hit people before they know what hit them. So I'm excited.
It's like a ninja.
He's like, yeah, a little ninja kind of like Aga. See, that's a perfect segue into Radwanska, who I may be crazy because she's been in a bad slump after the whole Martina debacle, but this past week she's played really well, and I'm hoping for good things in Wimbledon. I don't know. They showed clips from when she played the final against Serena, and I just like got all emotional. That was so cool. She was so close, and then she like never got as close again. It's like so. I don't know. Maybe it's delusional, but I'm just feeling good about this year. Like I think she's like fed up, and I think she really wants to start doing better. And she's good on grass. It's the same thing. Her craftiness is really at its peak on this surface. So I'm hoping we get to see some good things from Aga.
Yeah, definitely.
So those are my Wimbledon thoughts.
Our Wimbledon thoughts. And then next.
Oh.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna let Valerie take over this.
In the tunnel.
Our in the tunnel segment.
In the tunnel. We're hoping when we do our podcast that this is going to be a regular segment where we introduce you to hotties that you may not know. In this case, we have Fettel right here. I know you know them, but we're going to talk about some hotties that maybe you aren't as familiar with. So this week we're going to do Lucas Pouille, who is a lovely French player. And ta-da! We have beautiful, and you can see his lovely form in many ways. In many ways. He is a French player, so he has a lot of flair. He does serve and volley, which is pretty awesome. He's got a great all-court game. He's very creative. But he is also powerful, which is awesome. And he's not crazy, which for a Frenchman is a pretty unbelievable combination, to have flair and not be insane. And that's what's been his main court matches have been impressive, because he's been playing against these much higher ranked players, and his nerves have been fantastic. So he's still very young, so we're hoping for very good things. He just had his 21st birthday, as you can see, his really pretty face.
He's very pretty.
He's super pretty. And that's why I said I have this crusade against all these French players who grow these horrible beards and cover up their pretty French faces. I don't understand it. Speaking of which, here's Benoit. It's another reason Luca seems like a really sweet guy. He's very soft-spoken. He's always very positive when he's on Twitter, and he seems very friendly with everyone. He played doubles with Benoit, and after they played doubles, they sent each other these lovely tweets, and Benoit called him his beautiful partner. And then Luca called him my Ben. So everyone was very excited about these two, it's my pleasure to play with you. And so the Benoit Luca love fest is just another reason to love him. And then we're back to the Kokk, as you can see.
I think, if we were like our own version of Sesame Street, very adult version, we would be sponsored by the word cock.
The word
for this episode.
It's just a running theme, and Luca has good taste in men, so like Andy Murray. So and also Luca is a huge Federer fan, and he also likes Stan. And there was a really cute video of Luca where he was talking about that at French Open a couple of years ago, that he practiced with Stan, and that Stan was extremely wonderful and very nice, and they had this great practice session. And he said, and then when Stan played Federer, who he's a huge fan of, he said he felt suddenly guilty, and he kind of wanted Stan to win. But he didn't know.
He's all of us. We felt that
exactly
with some player.
Yes, he felt the Federica conflict. He didn't know who to cheer
Federica.
for. So it was really nice that he finally got his wish, and Stan won the whole damn thing. So
Very
then,
nice.
so you can be happy for Stan. So I
Very
said
nice.
there's lots of reason to love Luca.
So welcome, Luca.
Welcome, Luca, who I like to call Pookie. So
Pookie. Welcome, Pookie, to our tunnel.
Which is easier to say than Pouille.
Pouille. Pookie. Welcome to our tunnel of love.
Welcome to our tunnel.
She's much better at the sexy voice than I am. I think I sound like I'm gonna murder somebody. She's all like sexy, and I'm like, "Come to my tunnel," and it just doesn't. It doesn't sound good. It is not.
Well, you know, for those aggressive types that are into that sort of thing.
Who was the one that was dressed up like a serial killer snowman? What was that?
I've forgotten.
Was it
much about that? Oh, it was Vashi. Yes, it was Vashi. So there you go. Vashi might be. Maybe you could work something out there.
Yeah, serial killer snowman. Maybe like
stocking cap and gloves to your tunnel.
Come into my ice bucket. She says sexily as she takes off her clothes, which no one wants to see. That's just a mess. Just a mess. All right, we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on,
and this is gonna be very special for us.
That's right. We're gonna talk about Joey.
We're gonna talk about Joey.
Joey Hanf, who you may know from the Tennis Nerds website, and he's also Tennis Nerds on Twitter. And he is a very lovely journalist type. He is very young and easily influenced. And oh no, I'm sorry.
I thought you were gonna say he's very young and tight, and I was like, what? Where are we going here? Yeah, no, he's very beautiful. She has known Joey longer than I have. I met Joey when I was working with Tennis Atlantic, and we did the courtside webcast. And his voice is amazing. His voice is gorgeous.
Yes, he has a very seductive voice.
So we have dubbed Joey the heartthrob of the night session webcast.
That's right. See, we have him hanging up in our lovely office, as you can see. Where we can gaze upon him as we talk about butts and cock.
Yes, he is our boy toy. We don't know how he feels about this. We did not tell him about this.
No.
So we have no idea how he feels, but if everybody should go follow him and tell him how beautiful he is, because he really is beautiful.
Yes, he's very beautiful. He has a very sinful mouth. I'm just going to talk about that a little bit, but
please do. Go on.
There's something, you know, like Stan has the really cute little pouty lower lip. Joey has the upper lip is like kind of upturned, and there's something extremely sexy about it. So you can go over to the Tennis Nerds on Twitter and tell him all about it. And by the way, he also knows a ton about tennis. He's
he's
extremely
one
informative.
Of the smartest people I know in the tennis community. He's brilliant. And I think, you know what, if everybody goes to the Tennis Atlantic no longer does the courtside webcast since I left the site. I don't know if they're going to bring that back or not. But go to YouTube, and if you listen to some of the courtside webcasts featuring Joey and one of the tennis players we had on, and their banter back and forth and how knowledgeable they are was just really nice to listen to. And I always say he needs his own podcast because
absolutely.
He's pretty amazing and very smart.
Yes, and he goes to some of the tournaments, and he's very big into American tennis. So if you want to keep up on all the American guys, he's your guy to follow. So, and he's totally hot. So what more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Go follow him and stalk him. And and it's funny. I don't know if he's going to love this or like murder us. So if we don't have another episode, it might,
You'll know why.
Yeah, if you don't hear from us for a while, you might, want to check the calendar.
Yes, he might get a restraining order. I don't know. Hi, Joey. We love you, Joey.
Hi, Joey. Yeah, we did not talk about this with him. He has no idea. But we do talk about Joey to ourselves. And we're just like, we have to make him into a heartthrob because he is. Like, he should be on, like, Teen Beat magazines or whatever magazines the kids have nowadays. When I was a kid, it was Teen Beat. Now it's probably, I don't know, Bieber World. I don't know. But whatever magazine the kids are reading, he should be on the cover doing like a sultry pose in a chair with like a shirt off, like.
Yeah. That's what you were saying. He needs to do more selfies on his Twitter account because then he'll get even more followers.
Yeah, we do not have a lot of pictures of him. So he needs to. Everybody needs to encourage him to take more pictures of himself so we can use it on our webcast.
That's right. So that we can exploit him as we've done here. So thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joey. We love you. In a very weird. I just met you not that long ago, and I'm just like confessing my love to you. But you know what? Whatever. Valerie's a horrible influence on me.
I thought you were just gonna say I was a whore. Which...
I know. Oh, no. You Valerie, your whore with your crabs with Stan. How dare you? But it's funny because I'm kind of an outgoing person, but at the same time kind of shy and awkward and nerdy. So I think it's going to be interesting the first time I meet Joey. Because I'm either going to be like, hey, or hey. Well, what I said.
You might see the back of him as he's running away.
Yeah,
we're not sure how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, we don't know. And then Ricky just laughing in the background.
Now this is starting to sound like a Fellini film or something. I don't know.
Oh man.
Probably move on before.
Yes, we're gonna move on before we get restraining orders. Next we have Grigor Dimitrov, who kind of is turning himself into a heartthrob whether we want it or not. And we do want it. Yes. I mean, you're a gorgeous man, Grigor, but it's funny how he does kind of act like that sultry heartthrob, like, girl, I'm gonna steal your heart away. just look at my Instagram photos.
Yes. And this is his Twitter account is awesome because he posts cute pictures like this with Roger, giving him an interesting look. And I like this one because this is what Grigor does on his pages. These are like photos taken in the moment that have been carefully posed. And looking
let me arch my back a little bit.
Yes, and my shorts have fallen down a little bit, exposing some of my thigh. Ooh,
my balls are out of my
bag. It's very well done, Grigor. These are the ones that are well done. They don't seem too obvious, but they're still extremely just enough to get you going. And so here's just a shot of his Instagram and all these little slices of Grigor.
He's strong. He's sensitive.
He stares off into space.
Yeah, you'll get to go to museums and then go biking on a beautiful day.
Oh, long romantic walks near the river.
Yeah,
he's just the perfect man.
I think somebody should make, the Hey Girl meme with Ryan Gosling. Someone needs to make the Hey Girl meme with Grigor Dimitrov. I'm saying it right now. Go, internet. Do not disappoint me. Do not disappoint me. Go make Hey Girl Grigor Dimitrov.
There you go.
Memes. Do it. Somebody do it, please. I'm really bad at making memes, so you need to do it for me.
That's right. We'll just get someone else to do it. And then this is the problem. It's a very fine line you have to walk between being, sexy, romantic, and going way too over the top.
To staged heartthrob. He's staging. He's just like, look at me, ladies. Look, you want this sultry? I'll write you a song.
Yes.
And what woman doesn't want to be serenaded?
Yes. And it's the same staring off into space, thinking about his woman. And then this one just went too far because of what he wrote. Every time I get to Spain, I find myself inspired to pick a guitar. And then hashtag, have you ever really loved a woman? And then hashtag music, hashtag artist. Too far, Grigor, too far. He got so much crap for this on Twitter. It was like...
I like some of the comments here where one went, bro, you went total hipster. And then one wrote, bomb as F.
I know. It's just that little bit too much where it's like you're trying too hard. And that's what someone called it. They called it a try hard tweet.
Try hard.
It's like, we get it, Grigor. You're sexy and sensitive. And it's too much.
I mean, hey, Grigor, I love it. You do you, babe. You do you.
That's
you
right.
Want to stare off and play guitar and be all sensitive and then like lift up tires and show women how beefy you are. You do it.
Yeah. And make cookies. He made cookies for
yes.
Maria too.
Oh, and like the Christmas tree. And then he was saying how Maria didn't like the Christmas tree he picked.
Oh, no.
I think that's kind of the relationship we all want. We all want to bake cookies and go Christmas tree shopping and watch our man, lift up tires and serenade us on a guitar all at the same time.
All at the same time, all in one man.
Yeah, like that's what we want. Like that's textbook. Like he checked all the boxes.
Yes.
And he's, like Joey, we made him our heartthrob, but Grigor, he made himself our heartthrob.
Right. That's
like,
right.
He put in the work and he's just like, look at me, ladies. Look at your man. Now look back at me.
But he's a lot of fun. It's I hope he doesn't stop because it's great having him on Twitter and stuff. It's like it's interesting, it's not boring. Yeah. It's not just some PR firm putting out stuff. He's his own PR firm. Yeah, I love it. So keep at it, Grisha. Yeah. We love it.
Don't stop, Grigor. Don't stop.
Don't stop, Grigor.
Oh, see, that's better. See, I didn't commit to that. I didn't commit, but you committed. You went all the way. That's
right.
That's why they give you the big bucks.
Who does?
The imaginary person I made that gives you money for being sultry.
That's right. I like it.
And me being my serial killer, like, don't stop, Grigor. I gotta work on that. I gotta work on my sexiness.
That's right. So we're just gonna try to get better every time.
Yeah, so. I know. Maybe some people listening can give me some tips.
There you go.
Like how to be more sultry, and I'll get better, you guys. I'll get better.
That's right. We're gonna work on this, and we're gonna talk more about the Kokk. That'll probably help.
I'm very comfortable talking about the Kokk.
See, there you go. It's step one. It's step one.
Step one, admit the Kokk. Just let it happen. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I really don't.
Just lie back and think of England.
Honestly, it's like
where are we going with this?
It's past midnight. Like we're just going.
There you go.
We don't know what we're doing, but we're going.
We're going. Actually, I think we're ending.
We're getting to the end here. And this is our, if you want to follow us on Twitter, Valerie is at Tennis Inside Out. I'm at I'm at Courtney Mania, not Court Mania.
Once again, we said it's after midnight.
That's my Instagram. My Instagram is at Courtmania, but my Twitter is at Courtney Mania. Whatever. I couldn't fit that in that little slot anyway. That's what she said.
No.
And Valerie is at Tennis Inside Out on the shoulders of Stan there, and I am at thetravelingfangirl.com at the nipples. Right there.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to tell the nipple story.
Yeah, apparently she has a nipple story.
The nipple story about Stan. That is this is like the evolution of Stan, because there was an interview that was a few years ago that Stan did on the beach. There was this woman that interviewed him, and they were on jet skis and all. It was kind of like the very early stages of Stan is sexy.
Wait, were they doing the interview on jet skis?
No, they had, they showed him on the jet ski, and I think he took her for a ride.
Oh.
And so then they did the interview on the beach, and and he's all wet, and his shirt's plastered to him, and she's standing there, and she asked to see his tattoo, and he kind of got a little embarrassed, and so he lifted his shirt up, and the cameraman zoomed in to get a closer look at it, and he covered up his nipple because apparently he felt this was too offensive for a close view. So it's like cute little shy thing, like I don't want to show my nipple, and now he's gonna be posing naked.
Gotta hide the nip slip. Maybe he'll cover his nipples though.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, you never know. He might have little pasties or something. That's like little tennis ball pasties.
Oh my god, I hope not.
And hey, Novak Djokovic wore pasties in a commercial one time. Like
that is,
you never know. But yeah, little cute tennis ball or like this Swiss flag or something, just covering up them nips.
Oh, but was funny about that video with this woman interviewing him too was that you could tell she was so desperately wanting to touch him. And her hand was like hovering like 2 inches away from the tattoo, and it was like she suddenly realized this might not be appropriate.
Yeah, I think we've all had that struggle.
Yes.
We want to touch. I remember some guy in my high school let me touch his tattoo, which was on his lower stomach, like below his belly button. And he's like, "Do you want to touch it?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Maybe, know. What was the question?
So many women just automatically wanted to. That just now he just automatically goes, "Go ahead, touch it. Go ahead, you can. I know you want to."
Oh, and on that note,
we're gonna wrap it up. Our first episode.
Our first organized chaos was
that's what we call it, organized chaos. We actually worked really hard on this, and then we just got so flustered and organized chaos. Like we were crazy, but in a good way. We hope in a good way. You can tell us.
Yes,
you can be honest. We won't cry.
Not at Courtmania, but at
Courtney Mania, unless you want to follow my Instagram.
There you
go. Which is at Courtmania.
And Tennis Inside Out. So tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, but be gentle. Just like we would be. And I guess that is all for our premiere edition of the night session.
Yeah, and I want to thank everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoyed our pilot episode, and hopefully this is the start of many more nights together.
Yes.
And until another night, this has been the night session.